And welcome back to Ship of Fools, a nautical D&D actual play podcast. My name is Hannah McLean, and I am your dungeon master here on this nautical adventure. Joining me today, I have Andy Latai,
Finn Fisher,
Nolani Stevenson,
Regin Starkweather,
and Taylor Wallace.
Malachi Kassir.
And we are back on the open seas, or rather still under the open seas, here with our 65th episode.
Wow.
So, let's do a little bit of a recap, and then we can dive right in. So, last session, you had just defeated, quote-unquote, helped the lurker in the deep. Finn got to have a long-awaited conversation with his father, a long-awaited tour of the aberrant seas from the perspective of the eldritch god who's made it his domain. Got to get some answers and some good, father-son bonding time. Played a little catch, you know how it is. Meanwhile, Adriana and the rest of the Cult of the Lurker smoothed things over with the city of Nephthys, sort of made sure that they were aware that the followers of the Lurker in the Deep did not intend to almost destroy the city, and neither did the Lurker in the Deep himself. It was an unfortunate misunderstanding. It was the High Priestess's fault, and she's dead, so nobody worry.
Blame it on the dead bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All loose ends are wrapped up. You guys then got a chance to kind of hang out in Nephthys and finish your business there. The rest of the Cult of the Lurker departed back for the Lurker's dwelling place. You had kind of a day to bandage up your wounds and sort of take a breath with no immediate urgent threats. Regin and Malachi did some investigating, trying to figure out a little bit more about why Ben was in the city and what business the adventurer possibly had with Nephthys.
And our massages.
Yeah, then you got a massage. Let's not forget that. They're feeling very relaxed this morning. You guys wake up feeling awesome. Meanwhile, Finn and Mela went to a puppet show, and had a lovely day in the city together before going to this puppet show. They then walked back to the Temple of the Lurker, where Mela tried to finish out the evening with a kiss. Finn was taken extremely aback. There's been some miscommunication, some mixed signals, although some mixed receiving of signals. Mela, somewhat embarrassed, basically fled the scene. Finn, finally realizing what was going on, sent some fish to apologize, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I sent them to go make a smiley face in front of her.
Exactly.
The universal symbol.
And then the party had a discussion about relationships, I think. A discussion of some kind. That night, you received a message from Nell basically being like, hey, call me, which Finn did so using the dream spell and received the information that Shiloh has managed to make contact with her relatives in Erebraer, and essentially that the adventurer has not shown up in Erebraer, meaning that if you guys can get up there and talk to the king, you might be able to establish an important relationship there and sort of get to Erebraer is where this battle is taking place and where Lithios' main focus is. So that sort of seems to be the place to be at the moment. So we're going to pick up with Finn having just had this dream conversation, waking up. You all wake up in the Temple of the Lurker, in your vertical water beds.
Inside the dream, we see Finn talking to Nell and going, yeah, and so then I sent some fish to go over to find wherever she lived if they saw her,
Finn.
and make a big smiley face. And I mean, so what do you think I should... Oh. And Finn wakes up and is like, oh, I guess that was 8 hours. Well, I guess I'll get their answer tomorrow.
Yeah, so you all wake up in the Temple of the Lurker. It's still dark. There's still an ominous hum permeating everything. There is, however, the smell of breakfast.
Are we gonna address how smell works underwater, or are we just gonna go with
I was
it?
just hoping you were gonna just let that slide.
Wow, what a place to wake up. I'm gonna miss it, you know?
No.
Yeah, I mean, the ominous hum has kind of grown on me.
Right? It's soothing. Mm-hmm. It's like a white noise machine.
Malachi's packed all of his things.
Speaking of, that reminds me. So, I dreamed with Nell last night.
Oh.
Had a great time. Talked about all sorts of stuff. They send their regards. They also think that we should get up to Erebraer stat, because apparently the adventure is not there yet, so, the way's open for us to get there first and establish that we're the good guys. But they think it would be good if we went and picked them up first. And on account of I have a spectacularly powerful magic trident, we can do that now.
Oh. Yeah, that does make things easier. All right.
But I can only do it once a day. So it would mean a slight delay in our travel.
Are we closer to Nell now, or is Nell closer to Erebraer?
You are all extremely far. It's like Erebraer is up at the top of the Northern Sea, Nell is in the Lightless Sea, which is down at the bottom, and you guys are, clear out in the east. So
That's
it's like a
unfortunate.
triangle. Yeah.
So we can't save time doing one than the other. All right.
Yeah, it's not going to be faster than teleport. It won't be faster than 2 days.
I think we should teleport to Nail, because they tend to have good information.
Yeah,
and
I'd rather be
things.
sailing with people who actually have the info on what it is we're going to do.
Well, we actually don't have to sail at all,
Oh, yeah.
because I can teleport on account of my spectacularly powerful magic trident.
Damn, we really stole that boat for nothing.
Hey, I mean,
We had some good times, right?
we've come this far.
I tap on Matt Black in my pocket, and I whisper, "We'll get you back on the water again soon, buddy."
The bidet flushes the tiny,
Wow! It's like mosquito pitch.
Cool. So you guys head out into the main area of the temple. You pack up your stuff in so much as you might have unpacked it. Ta is there with a bunch of little seaweed wraps
Wow.
that are breakfast. They're like seaweed wraps with, I don't know, the underwater equivalent of eggs in them.
Sea bacon, sea egg, and sea cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Delectable. Yeah, you guys have really cultivated a good breed of sea chicken down here.
Thank you. We're quite proud of it.
We could just eat roe.
Oh yeah.
What's roe?
Fish eggs.
No!
Okay.
You know that chicken of the sea is tuna, right?
Oh no.
I wonder, actually, hold on. How do I feel about eating unfertilized eggs? I don't know. We'll get back to it.
The question of is Finn a sea vegetarian or a sea vegan that hasn't been answered yet.
Because nobody asked.
Great, okay.
Yeah, will you drink, sea milk?
It's called water.
Like walrus milk?
Ew.
Regin actually just brought that from home.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole walrus. There's been a walrus here this entire time. I can't believe you haven't noticed. Wasn't relevant to the plot. Did you think that was me that snored like that?
No comment.
Cool. So, you guys, you get your seaweed wraps. Ta is like, so are you departing so soon?
Yeah, sorry, but as the son of the lurker, I have many important duties in maintaining the balance
course.
between ocean and land.
And we would never want to.
And duty calls.
We would never keep you from the important business of the lurker out in the rest of the oceans.
Duty business.
Right. I'll be back, though. Don't worry, this place owns. I'll definitely come back to visit once, we've sorted out the fate of the world.
Good. He nods, and he sort of steeples his fingers together in a vaguely sinister manner, but that seems to just be,
The way he is.
the way he is.
Do you want me to, I don't know, bless anything or rub myself on anything before we leave? Make some relics?
I told you both to go before we leave.
He sort of reaches toward your head, Finn, and is like, if you wouldn't mind.
I looked at Malachi with my eyebrows raised.
He's going to put his hand on the top of Finn's head, is what it looks like.
Oh, I thought he was about to pluck some of my hair.
Yeah, that is, he's reaching for your hair.
Why are you looking to Malachi about that?
It's I don't know, is this something bad or is this fine?
I never think this is cool, but you seem to like him, so...
We don't really know about DNA in this world, so I don't know if this matters.
He grabs a few strands of your hair and takes out, a ritual dagger and, snips them off.
Ooh.
Ah.
And
Yeah, sure.
takes them and holds them and is like,
Don't make any dolls with that.
oh,
Yeah, I already have one. It would be redundant.
that's alright. I can find something else to do with them. He sets them down very gently on a surface.
And then they start floating up because we're
Yeah.
underwater.
Yeah. They just sort of float there in the middle of the...
Finn's got the densest hair known to man.
Well, there you go. No extra charge.
Thank you, We are blessed.
Indeed. We are all blessed by the unyielding, baleful gaze of the lurker.
The thrumming noise gets a little louder.
I'm an unyielding, baleful gay.
Regin, I've seen you yield before.
Oh.
Okay, don't put me on.
Finn, you were supposed to have your eyes covered.
Don't put me on blast.
Ta, I did want to talk to you about one thing before we head out. And I pull him aside a little bit. Listen, there's one more thing, one more sort of arcane mystery of lurkerdom that's been bugging me. And honestly, I just sort of forgot to ask when I was talking to the big guy, because I was a little overwhelmed, with the whole thing. I mean,
Understandable.
Have you ever looked him in the eye? It's pretty crazy. I was bleeding out of my ears all night.
Exactly. I think probably my brain would just scramble instantly if I ever did, so...
Yeah. But, listen, I just can't figure out... I've read, books about the lurker and talked to some ocean creatures, and I was at one point in a dragon oracle cave, and I saw some oracular cave art, and met a couple gods. And it seems like I can't tell how old the lurker is. What's going on there? I always assumed he was, ageless, as old as the seas, but I don't know. That might not be the case. And I mean, the way he perceives time seems like he might not be able to give me a great answer, even if I did ask him.
Well, as far as I understand it, and I don't know, I haven't been to the surface ever, so I don't know what they're saying up there.
You're not missing much.
I didn't think I was. But there's a difference between how long a being has existed for and when people started to notice. I mean, there's always been, as far as I know, as long as there have been sentient beings, there's been knowledge that there was something great and terrible in the seas, and those of us who live down here have known this for longer than those who lived on the surface. But, I mean, does it really matter when humans started to give it a name?
I guess not. Humans don't really count for that much in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. The question of how long the being that is now called the Lurker in the Deep has existed and how long he's been a god by human standards are different questions.
Interesting.
As far as I'm concerned, he's older than time itself.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll just make that my opinion.
Yeah.
That simplifies things.
I agree. Much easier to say that than to try to find a number of years. Although if we did know the specific time, we could start counting the calendar from then, which would be convenient in terms of...
True, and we could figure out when to celebrate his birthday.
Exactly.
I'll devote some meditation to this.
Oh, good. You'd be able to figure it out if anyone could. If you pick a birthday, we'll all go with it.
Oh, God, really? Oh, wow. Oh, that's so much responsibility.
Yeah, pick a good one.
Hey, guys, when's a time of year that's missing a holiday? You could use an occasion to liven up a boring month?
August.
Do we have months?
August? Is that some strange month I've never heard of?
Are you gonna make up a month? We don't have a calendar.
That's what we call it. Sorry, I forgot that you, in Erebray, we use a different calendar.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'll figure it out.
I say the month when it starts to get too dark.
That's true. That would be appropriate for his shadowy majesty. All right, nice. I'll give it some thought. I'll let you know when I get back.
Yes. You could make a proclamation about it.
Wow, my first proclamation.
Always such a big milestone.
Now we can perform ceremony.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else that you want to do in Nephthys?
Oh, actually, Ta, I did also want to ask, Mela hasn't been in yet today, has she?
No, it's still pretty early. She doesn't
She called out sick.
often come in until later.
Okay, great. When she does, I guess, tell her I said, whoops, sorry.
Whoops, sorry. Okay, I've got it.
Or, I'll write a note. And I write a note with some special underwater pen and paper.
Cool.
Fold it up and give it to Ta. Just give this to her when she gets in.
Yes.
Or actually, guys, I don't know, how much of a rush are we in?
Medium well, Rush.
Yeah, no, we gotta go. We have to leave immediately.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, tell her sorry about that, too, but,
Well.
fate of the world kind of thing.
Finally an excuse to use the little mailbox slots we have in our office.
Wow.
Wow, glad I could help.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Truly, this is a blessed day.
Usually messages just get handed to us by a crab, and there's no reason to put them in the mailbox, so this is...
Your crabs have hands?
They've... yes.
Okay.
Oh my god, Nerd Crab, you're growing thumbs!
He skitters, and gives you a thumbs up.
Wow.
You hand the note to Ta, you take your seaweed wraps, and you leave?
Yeah?
I guess so.
I mean, Finn, how does this work?
Oh, right, yeah, I guess we don't actually have to go anywhere, I just do it. I guess we should probably go outside at least, because it is sort of a big radius. I don't want to accidentally suck Ta in.
Thank you.
Well, what if we just stood by the caterer?
The what?
I don't know, whoever made the seaweed wraps. Those are pretty good.
Oh, I made those myself, thank you.
Oh, never mind, we can go outside.
Alright.
Okay. You guys step outside of the temple out into this sort of temple square where various worshippers and priests are moving back and forth between the various temples. Finn, you lift up your trident and the water around you begins to swirl. You see people kind of like looking over in, looking somewhat impressed.
Nobody get within 15 feet of me, okay?
It looks very scary. They're keeping their distance. But the Temple of the Lurkers had a lot of activity over the past few days. As the water whirls around you guys, and you appear. Andy, do you want to appear, like, as close to the beach as you can get by Soliban Cove, or anywhere else for any reason?
I think I'm picturing basically right in the middle of the cove. Like,
cool.
In the center of the cove. I want to say a brief hello to the fish who lives there.
Great.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. You, feel yourselves get pulled right into the center of this whirlpool, and a second later, you are taking big gasps of air, as you are at
yuck.
the surface of the water.
Oh, finally.
At the center of Soliban Cove, you can see the mists of the lightless sea above you. So it's surprisingly like more light than what you just came from, meters under the ocean. But there's still this soft gray fog over and around you.
Wait, we were only meters under the ocean?
She didn't say how many.
I was going to say miles, and then I ended up in the metric system somehow, except I'd already said, so it was
My god, here we are in Nephthys, several feet beneath the surface of the waves.
It's lots of meters, okay? I could have said inches, and it would still be accurate. Okay. You appear in the cool water. Finn immediately hear like a chorus of fish go, "Whoa! It's Finn! Guys, it's Finn! It's Finn!"
That's right, it's Finn!
Lots of chattering back and forth. You can see the still decaying, zombies that you guys fought underneath the water here, but no longer animated. Just these skeletons that are slowly being picked clean by the fish that are around here.
Still some good eating on that arm there, guys.
Yeah! They look up at you from where they're all nibbling on flesh.
Mouths dripping with rotten flesh.
Now this is a cycle I can get behind.
And over on the beach, you can see lights from torches and a bunch of little, pretty makeshift, but a bunch of little huts that have been constructed here over the past 10 days or whatever it's been that you guys have been gone, as well as Amelia's ship, the one ship that you had to come here that wasn't matte black, which is still parked in the cove. You can see that it's anchored and there's a gangplank that leads down to the beach so that people can come and go. And you can see signs of activity. It's still pretty early, but some people are up already. And you can also see that there is trees and vegetation kind of growing along the rocks. What was very sparse last time you were here is now genuine vegetation. There's grass, trees with green leaves, somehow managing to flourish even in this place that doesn't really have any sun. And you can see that people are some people have weapons on the shore. You see, like, people grabbing spears and crossbows as you just appear in the middle of the bay. But pretty quickly, somebody recognizes you and, like, puts the spyglass down and is yelling down the beach, "It's Finn and Regin and Malachi, it's fine!" And the weapons are lowered. You guys can swim to shore. You swim to shore, swim to this black sand beach. There's a couple of fires going. There's, like...
Finn swims up to the beach and then comes out of the surf, opening up out of a seashell, like Botticelli's Venus.
Regin doesn't even move his body. He just lets himself be eventually washed up like he's
We
dead.
reenact our original wash upon the shore of Bluefin Tropical.
Not a fucking again!
After a couple minutes of Regin floating there, I summon another shell to, like, nudge him onto the beach.
Cool. You guys get to the beach and see this little community that's constructed here. It hasn't been that long, so things are still pretty, are still sort of setting up a bit, but there's, like I said, there's these little huts, as well as some kind of, like, tents and stuff that people had in their supplies. You can see that some people are, like, making breakfast, it looks like, getting ready for the day of subsisting here like they've been, and everyone's spirits
What are they
seem
making for breakfast, Hannah?
generally high. They are making something with, like, seaweed and some, like, what's a fruit that grows pretty fast?
Zucchini. It's not a fruit tree, but...
Yeah, there could be, like, some zucchini, I guess. I don't know.
It's magic.
The point is, you gave such a convincing speech before you left them that there's no fish. At least whoever's making breakfast right now is not cooking fish.
Finn nods approvingly.
Finn sniffs the insides of everyone's microwaves.
Scouring the beach for fish bones. As you guys climb out of the water and as word is clearly spreading that you're here, you see Nell and Alden walking down the beach toward the three of you. Nell gives, like, a cheerful wave as they approach you guys, and they're like, "Okay, first of all, before we get into anything else, Finn, did you get to talk to that girl again before you left?"
No, I left her a note, but I didn't
Oh.
actually get to see her because I figured we had to rush right here, and
Alden, like, shakes his head and sort of, like, rubs his temple and is like, "See, you should have... You needed to talk to her and do, like, make the fish make a heart or something like that."
well, I didn't want to come on too strong.
And I was like, "I don't know, a note can be kind of sweet. Like, that can be something. That's not the worst idea in the world."
Finn, what'd you write?
That's private.
Oh, God.
That's a stupid thing to write.
Hey guys, glad you made it back. Glad you're not dead. Congrats on killing the High Priestess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it was my dad who did it, but...
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, we've done some killing.
Hey, remember that blue lady with the mask? You were there for that. Killed her.
great.
Remember the dreamer?
Killed her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how much did Finn fill you in on?
I think
I told Nell everything that we've been up to for the past 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Finn, you gotta leave some for us to surprise them with.
I don't suppose you managed to... This is Alden. I don't suppose you managed to kill Retval and just were saving it as a surprise.
No, we didn't see him again.
Damn. I mean, good that you didn't see him, but would have been nice.
We did see.
We did see Ben.
Yeah. We heard. Yeah. Alarming?
Did he tell you that he turned him into a snail?
Yes.
Again? Damn.
Yeah, slippery bastard.
I told them several times.
Yeah. Yep. Heard that multiple times.
Well, now you've heard it again.
Alright, well, I've got nothing, so.
Right. So, yeah. Thank you for, coming here. Very excited about the fact that you have teleportation magic now. That's going to solve a lot of problems. Namely the problem where we're all stuck here.
And hey, if you need any spaces as small as a square inch squeezed into, I'm your man.
Oh.
I don't. But useful to know that you have that skill, I guess. But you were saying that you can't use this teleportation again until tomorrow.
Right, once a day.
Okay.
Gotta get a long rest in.
That's fine. We will just, take a day, chill, and then tomorrow we can go to Erebraer. We'll let everyone here know that they can either... Amelia was probably going to take her ship and her crew and head back to Angel Isle, rather than... They're not so much for fighting a war, and the target on them is not as... She said something about filing the serial numbers off her ship, and it'll be fine. So, everybody here can either come with us to Erebraer. There's no, limit on how many people you can take, right?
Right, as long as they can get within 15 feet of me.
Great.
We'll have to pack them like sardines, but...
There's not that many of us. Yeah, so then we can leave tomorrow morning.
Cool.
Great. Okay. There's breakfast, if you want it.
So, how have you been?
Honestly, we've been pretty good. There hasn't been any... It was sort of tense for the first few days because we weren't really sure how secure this place actually was, or if we were about to have a bunch of people hunting for us. But it has done a pretty damn good job of keeping us hidden. So people have been able to... some people are a little restless and still a little scared, but, we haven't had nearly as exciting of a week and a half as the rest of you.
Nothing wrong with that.
Thank God for that. I met my god. I don't know if Finn told you that.
Yeah, Finn told me that, but your axe is glowing.
Yeah, it's like that now. I'm supposed to, protect the light and kindle the light and,
Cool.
Speak up, Mal.
But, yep. It just glows now, nothing else special.
Your axe vibrates, Malachi. That's okay, because only you can feel it. Cool. Yeah, so you guys are at Soliban Cove for the rest of today. Let me know if you have anything specific that you want to do, if there's anyone here that you want to initiate a conversation with. I have some people who want to initiate conversations with you, but I am opening the floor to you first.
Is Rosie here?
Yes. Shiloh was able to rebuild her, and she comes, running up to, trotting in her mechanical dog way, looking different than she did before, because now she was sort of, built with, kind of whatever Shiloh could find lying around, and so she's significantly more, patchy, and one of her ears, flops all the way over.
Aww.
Wow, her tail is just made out of a piece of driftwood.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a chainsaw blade sticking out of her perfect little face.
Shiloh's yeah, that one was on purpose. I figured she could use a chainsaw face after everything. Seemed like she deserved it. Hi, by the way. Good to have you guys back.
Shiloh, glad to see you're alright.
I give Shiloh a big hug.
Hey, Shiloh!
I also gave Nell and Alden big hugs in case anybody was wondering. Sopping, juicy, sea-watery hugs.
Great.
That's the best kind.
Shiloh is oh, I have so much metal on me all the time, you're going to rust it. But she does not...
Thank you! What have I been saying?
Oh, don't worry, we have an oil can with us.
She does not pull away from the hug while she says that.
Oh, thank you for this, by the way. I definitely would be dead if I couldn't breathe underwater. Malachi knocks against his plate.
Thought you might. Glad that it came in handy with the immense underwater adventure that I've been hearing about. Yeah, we're gonna go to Erebraer. You're gonna get to meet some of my family, which is crazy, but, kind of a worlds colliding thing. But they're...
Wow, are they gonna give us any magic items?
Probably not. Actually, most of my family doesn't really do... The artificer thing isn't a family trade. Most of them are, rangers who live with sheep, actually, so...
Sheep, you say?
Yeah.
Well, a good wool sweater is a kind of magic all its own.
You sound just like my grandma.
Well, I definitely want to go talk to Baleen.
Yeah. She's one of the people who are cooking breakfast right now. So as soon as you guys sort of walk over in that direction, she sees you and gets a big grin and just comes running over and throws her arms around you and is hi, oh my god, I've missed you so much, even though it's only been not that long compared to when you were traveling the seas finding your destiny or whatever, but it feels way longer because everything is crazy,
Oh, I know, a lot has happened.
Yeah, what happened?
You
I haven't gotten a chance.
Oh, you haven't heard my 7-hour account of events from Nell?
No! Tell it to me.
Oh, well, settle in.
And you play episodes 50 through 64 for her. And you give her the lowdown about what's happened. And she is like she's so thrilled. She's like, Finn, I can't believe it. You actually met the lurker in the deep. Like you talked to him and fought him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was amazing. I mean, I almost died when I fought him, but I mean,
yeah.
In a way, that was sort of pretty cool, even on its own. And yeah, and then I talked to him, finally got to, meet him, really be right next to him. It was amazing.
I mean, you've wanted this since we were, 8 years old.
I know, and he was, a little...
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, he was a little more, impersonal than I was maybe imagining, but I mean still it was amazing. I mean, just to drink in his presence. Yeah, I feel like pretty much any most people were going to be more impersonal than Mr. Fisher, your dad. Yeah, I suppose that's true. And what about your mom? You weren't even your mom who's a cultist, apparently. That you weren't even looking for her. I know! And I mean, she seems pretty cool. Wow. Little bit of a prude vis-a-vis human sacrifice and that sort of thing. But, she's still great. Yeah. I guess you're maybe the only person ever who would be disappointed to hear that their mom wasn't gung-ho about human sacrifice, but I mean, it's fine, nothing against her about it. It's just, No, for sure. Just kind of an agree to disagree situation. I guess not everyone can be a cool mom. Yeah. So how do you feel about it? I mean, pretty great. I mean, it's sort of, partly it just still hasn't sunken in yet, I mean, this is something that I've just been waiting so long for, and now it happened. It's like so much of my sort of deal is settled now. I mean, that's just pretty wild to think about. How did it feel to see the temple and hear people I don't know, being so impressed by you? Not gonna lie, pretty great. I mean, God, it was every time we'd be walking around and hanging out and I'd start talking about the lurker and then Guppy would run by and say that I was a dumb doo-doo head. Yeah. It erased every single time that happened within the first second I walked in the doors. Oh my God. Good. I mean, oh my lurker. Are you going to start saying that now? I don't know. Might be a little clunky. Yeah. More syllables. And there's no good way to shorten lurker. Oh my lurk. No, that doesn't... Yeah. Well, let's just say it's implied. If I say, oh my God, I'm probably talking about the lurker. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, for sure. Good. Yeah, maybe we'll get it to catch on.
Ooh, yeah. Finn, did you ever ask your dad if you could take his name in vain?
No, because I know he's not lame, Malachi.
Hey, what are you insinuating? You asked the keeper.
Well, no comment. Yeah, speaking of, what are you gonna do, after all this? Oh boy, that is a great question. I don't really know. Honestly, I haven't been able to think about it, I mean... Yeah. That's true. Trying to meet the lurker is taken care of, so I don't need to do that anymore, but... I mean, I do have a new charge from him, which I could see being sort of a lifelong undertaking, but... I mean, just in terms of, where I'll go, what I'll do, I really don't know. This is the first moment I've actually given that some thought. Well, I mean, I guess I'll come back to Gillsbury and help everyone rebuild, but after that, That's good. I was just gonna say, if you're going to just go, I don't know, live in a scary temple under the sea, I would hope you'd at least, visit sometimes. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I mean, I can teleport anywhere in the world now. That's true. Yeah, huge fan of that. Travel time is not even a consideration. Awesome. As long as, we should designate, one part of the bay off Gillsbury to not be obstructed, so I don't take a bunch of force damage when I appear there. Yeah, I'm sure. We can put out some, booties. I'll definitely come back to Gillsbury when all this is over. I mean, I don't want to miss the, The what? Anyway, nothing. Yeah, so, I mean, how have you been?
Oh, I miss the sun, but other than that, everybody here is great, and we've been doing a lot of non-fish cooking. So.
Good.
Yeah.
Also, I've got to get some girl advice from you. All right,
my God.
Baleen, because I'm in a real dilemma.
Did you meet a girl at the bottom of the sea?
Oh yeah, I had my first kiss with a mermaid.
What? She kind of like smacks your arm and is like, you didn't lead with
Ow.
that? Forget the god and your dad and everything. Oh my God. Oh my lurker.
I mean, well,
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
if you had gotten the full 7-hour recap, I went into quite a lot of detail.
Well, okay, I've heard Nell said that we can't teleport till tomorrow anyway, so you can tell me everything.
Yeah. So, her name's Mela.
Wow. Great name. Okay, you tell Baleen all about Mela, and yeah, she's thrilled to get the recap.
Horrified to learn you ran away.
Yeah, she reacts similarly. It's like, oh my God, Finn, we definitely are going to need to be doing damage control here.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault. I don't know how you would have thought of it other than, like, common sense, but it's fine.
She's like the second girl I've ever known.
Yeah, it's true. And I was really direct with Min, it's true. I just kind of, like, told him I liked him. But it's different when you're friends first. Anyway.
Yeah, I figured that's the way it always works.
Yeah, no, sometimes people go on dates. It's crazy, because we just all lived in Gillsbury, but...
Yeah, I thought I just had to wait around until it was my turn to have a girl march up to me in the town square and declare, "We're dating now!"
Yeah, no, I guess that's just a me thing. Probably most girls don't do that.
Crazy.
The Luma Ocean operates on Sadie Hawkins rules only.
Cool! Everyone, Malachi, you get lots of questions about why your axe is glowing now. That's one of the, like, obvious. Everyone here is definitely, like, very, very invested in hearing what you guys have done, because, they had a pretty boring, thankfully, and they're all thankful for it after having a lot of excitement, but they had a pretty boring week and a half. And you're all sort of, like, once again reminded what impressive figures you are to the remnants of AAA, and that you are like the
level 11 heroes that we are.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're all very, very impressed by you and kind of treat you as like minor celebrities.
Minor?
In that they're still able to talk to you and no one's asking for your autograph.
Baleen, do you think I should be more aloof? Would people respect me more?
I mean, yeah, but I think you'd hate it, so...
That's true.
But everyone is very, very much wanting to hear all about the Keeper and the Dreamer and the Lurker in the Deep. All of the big figures that you've encountered. Malachi, Shala.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk much about the Keeper.
I guess before anything, I do want to know what you tell people about your axe. Like, how much detail do you go into about what happened?
Yeah. I think he's intentionally vague about it, and he's like, yeah, I met,
I grew in my faith.
No, I think he's just basically like, yeah, I have been approved.
Nice.
You had your confirmation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely supposed to keep protecting the light, so this is supposed to help me do that, and no, I cannot tell you where it is or who has it.
Most people aren't pushing.
But it's real, and it's still here.
And it certainly is. It's obvious just from looking at the axe. Shala does, like, come over and, greets you and would give you a hug if you'd let her.
I think Malachi does that thing that, like, when your grandpa tries to hug you at, like, the gathering and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
She gives you a hug anyway. She's glad that you're alive. Everyone knew that you guys were in potentially dangerous situations. And she's like, that axe looks sharper as well as the fact that it's literally glowing. Do you mind if I see it? Inspect it a little bit?
Malachi's, like, grip around the hilt of the axe is like, his knuckles are turning white, but he, like, peels his fingers away and lets her touch it.
Yeah. She takes it and holds it, kind of feels the balance, runs her thumb kind of like along the edge of the blade and is like, ooh, yeah, sharper?
Yeah, it's magic now.
Well, gotta say, it's nice to see my craftsmanship get better than I ever could have made it on my own. And she hands it back to you.
Well, it did get help from a god, so...
Yeah. That's the problem with blacksmithing. You can never match up with what a god can do by just, I don't know, waving their hand or whatever.
Well, I mean...
Oh, all us blacksmiths say it.
I mean, she didn't just wave her hand. I had to do a whole thing, but whatever. You guys have been fine here?
Oh, yeah. I've been helping the artificers with making weapons and fixing everybody's weapons that got damaged during the various events, and, Mar's been helping people with combat training, all the lab kids from AAA who weren't really used to seeing battle.
Are you two... Malachi seems to hesitate with himself for a second, like, I don't know, should I tell them what we're doing, or can they be trusted with this? I don't know what you guys have been told about the next steps, but...
Yeah, we were going to come to Erebraer. We'd rather do that than...
Malachi's like, oh, okay, so they did tell you where we're going.
Yeah. We'd rather do that than go on to Angel Isle again. I'm not much one for pirates, but...
Ooh.
Yeah, as far as...
So you're coming with us?
That was the plan.
Mar knows Grandpa's there, right?
Yeah. She's considered a traitor to the Empire as well, and myself by association, I suppose.
Well, they did try to assassinate you.
Yeah.
I guess.
We've talked about it a bit. She would prefer to not end up face to face with her father if it's possible to avoid it. Conflict of interest and such. And I don't know how much everybody here trusts us, although everyone here has been wrong about someone they...
Are you trustworthy?
We've done our best to be trustworthy.
Malachi's like, oh, I can't tell if that's a lie or not, because that's not an answer.
Everyone here has followed the wrong person at least once, some multiple times. So, there's a certain level of understanding, but, we're still, enemy soldiers to a lot of these kids, despite the fact that I was never even a soldier at all, but whatever.
Yeah, well, hey, you're with her, so... But you are here now, I guess, so...
Exactly. So, yes, we're coming to Erebraer, although we have, no intention of getting immediately mixed up in things.
You sure you don't want to just stay here?
Not if everyone else is going to leave.
That's true.
Yeah, what I would like is to get back to Farian, but we'll have to see. That might still be a little ways down the road, it sounds like.
Yeah. Malachi looks very aware that he's fucking this conversation up, but doesn't know what to do about it. Well, I'm glad you're still here, then, at least. I guess, maybe... Did you get a chance to talk to... Malachi's very aware she just says she doesn't like pirates. Did you get a chance to talk to the other pirate captain who was here before on Angel Isle? I can't remember if she said she was going to talk to them or not.
Yeah, I don't think they ever did. So Shala furrows her brow and is like, no, I know who you're talking about, but we never actually got a chance to speak before she vanished.
Yeah, no, she left pretty quick.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Ollie, we'll see you later, I guess.
Yeah. You sort of, Malachi, you start to turn, and Shala's like, your mother and I are proud of the things that you've been accomplishing, and we're here for you if you want to talk. Okay. Great. Good job. And then
Mal and Shala are cut from the same cloth.
Yep. She also...
Runs in the family.
Shala's more outgoing, but we're not good at those kind of talks.
There's a reason no one in this family can do emotions. So she also quickly exits the conversation before you can follow up on that at all, which might be a relief.
As Malachi walks away, We see Finn run over and hug Shala and Mar, and then they all show off their matching tattoos to each other and are laughing about something.
Malachi kicks a brick.
Okay. So, as the day moves on, Amelia comes up to you, Malachi.
Oh.
And she
girl.
She, looks more, I guess rugged is maybe the word that I'm looking for. Like, her
Rusty.
warforged, yeah, a little bit rusty, but not in,
there.
a concerning way, just in, it almost looks like plants could start growing from in between her, warforged plating. Like, she looks more
Weathered.
rustic, I think is maybe what I'm looking for. But as she approaches you, she's like, did Nell tell you I'm not coming with to Erebrer?
Yeah, they mentioned that you were not super eager to get involved in a full-on war, which is totally fair.
Right. If I do see Nyira, do you want me to tell you that I've found her? We've all had time, to...
Yeah.
And I'm looking for her.
Good, someone should.
So if I do find her, do you want me to tell you, and do you have anything you want me to say to her?
Yeah, I'm glad someone's looking for her. Please, if you do see her, let me know. And you can tell her that, I don't know, that I'll be waiting for whenever she's, I don't know, done.
She nods, and she's like, understood.
Yeah, maybe when this is done with, she can swing by Farian.
Amelia nods in that very, solid, consistent way that she does.
Hannah's trying so hard not to say robotic.
Yeah. Robotic is too easy, but you all know what I mean.
Yeah.
And is like, all right, I will tell her, and I will let you know if I find her. In fact, take this. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a small cloth that looks like the communication cloths that you guys are familiar with using before, although this one is a little bit smaller. And she's like, most of the old communication devices that the Archaeological Artificers Association was using had to be destroyed because they were compromised, as you're aware. But Shiloh's made a couple of new ones. I have one, and Shiloh has one, and I'll give you this one. That way, I'll be able to contact you if I find her. She's good at not being found, but I'm hopeful.
So am I. Malachi gives Amelia a firm handshake.
Yeah, she shakes your hand.
And he does the shoulder pat to her.
Cool. Alden definitely comes and hangs out with Regin, but he doesn't really have anything
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
To say. I don't have a scene for that, but he is he wants to hear your take on the events, and because everybody just got the sort of the lowdown on what you guys did from Finn talking to Nell is how Alden heard everything.
So quite the filter.
Yeah, exactly.
World's worst game of telephone.
Yeah, and then other than that, you guys just sort of, hang out. Recovery day number 2.
Wow.
This never happens.
Finn just floats in the water for a while.
The fish, every 5 seconds, a new fish, swims into your radius, and it's like, whoa, hey, Finn. Consistently.
Finn has established a telepathic bond with that first fish who lived here by himself when we arrived, and they're playing a game of chess with a board just visualized in their minds telepathically.
Knight to F5.
Oh man, checkmate again!
Ha!
You're good at this.
I've never played, I just pick it up fast, I guess.
Finn can see in the corner of the fish's mind that he's reading a chess manual.
It's at the bottom of the ocean. He's turning the pages with his fins. Okay.
I think Malachi will go visit the center of his little garden patch or whatever.
Yeah, there's a garden. There's vegetation. There's things that can be eaten just growing here because you made them grow here.
With an open invitation to his buddies. if they want to come, but if they don't, he'll hang. I just want to make it clear he's not, like, going off to mope.
No, I thought you were going off to have some sort of, like, reverent moment of reverence.
Yeah, I figured you're gonna go embrace a tree or something. Is that a thing Malachi does? It sounds like it is.
Well, I certainly don't punch them.
It was one time.
And eventually the sun goes down. You are able to long rest again.
I think before we go to bed, we hang out a little bit.
Yes.
We don't say anything, but just it has to be known we don't just, like, trot back to the bed and all fall asleep separately. I think we should hang out a little bit before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Where we all sleep together, of course.
We have a little sleepover whispered chat before we go to bed.
Nell,
What?
do you have 2 long sticks of approximately equal length
Why?
for volleyball?
Oh! Yeah, surely we can find something. There's growing vegetation now, not to mention all the driftwood.
Don't break my beautiful trees.
Malachi, we have to sacrifice.
You use one of the trees as one of the poles, just a growing one, and then there's like a big piece of driftwood that people are able to find and set up. I don't know, does anyone have a net?
Finn does.
I have nets with me at all times.
Always.
Oh yeah, you're right, you do. Yeah, so you guys string a net, get some beach volleyball going.
Us versus Nell, Shiloh, Alden.
Yeah. Shiloh's like, I don't know, I'm terrible at beach volleyball. I've established that
You can be the libero.
I don't even know what that means. That's how terrible I am at beach volleyball.
The short one who saves the ball from hitting the floor.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay, so Regin will be that for us.
I don't speak French.
Shiloh does have an advantage there.
Yeah, awesome. You all hang out, and eventually you find yourselves, the 3 of you, kind of like sitting,
Do we win?
Oh, well, let's roll if you care.
Of course
yeah.
we care, Hannah. What do you
Of course,
take us
I'm
for?
so
This
sorry.
isn't just for fun.
I'm so sorry. I thought we were
What is
just having
the
a
one
nice
through
moment.
line of this
We have a
campaign?
title to
This
defend.
singular only
You're
through.
right. You're right. I'm so sorry. Everyone make me an athletics check, please, while I'm getting the stats for these guys.
5.
25.
Also 25.
Wow.
Finn is still playing mental chess with the fish in the bay, and so he's not focused.
Oof. Okay.
Finn doesn't move so well in the gravity of dry land.
So a 14 for Alden. Shiloh did not roll well enough to compensate for the fact that she doesn't have, but she has better athletics than Nell, actually. So she ends up with a 10. Nell rolled the best out of the 3 of them, but has the worst athletics, so also ends up with a 14.
Tragic. So we beat them into the dust.
So, yeah, Finn is,
You and I beat them into the dust.
Finn is not pulling his weight. But the spectacular performance from Malachi and Regin manages to even out over the mediocre performance from the rest of them.
Bro, our shirts are so off.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, our shirts are way off. Danger Zone's playing in the background.
You get way too into it. Part of Finn's 5 is that you keep cutting him off.
Malachi howls a bit.
When the game's over, Alden's like, Nell, next time that we get, like, left somewhere just to hang out for a while, we're practicing. And Nell's like, yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you guys could definitely practice.
Okay.
Listen, no one's gonna stop you from practicing.
By the end of the game, Finn is like sitting in the corner picking grass out of the ground.
Finn's making
Classic.
a daisy chain in center field.
You're blowing off each individual dandelion seed.
Eventually, the sun sets. Everyone goes to sleep. Everyone who's been living here packs up their stuff.
As we're all lying down in our beds,
Head to head to
hear
head.
Finn whispering to Baleen, okay, so, I mean, I could appear in her dreams right now, and then we
no,
could talk
no.
then, but that seems a little forward, right?
No. Do not do that.
I know. I don't want to come off too strong.
Hey Hannah, did my volleyball performance make me even more attractive to Alden? I say this because I've been assuming that I'm attractive to Alden. I realized as I just said that, I have no idea if that's true.
You can make an insight check.
Okay.
Malachi and Regin are fervently discussing whether or not it seems like Alden's into Regin, while Finn...
11?
Maybe I could appear in Taw's dream and he'd pass on a message for me?
I'm sure Ta seems like he'd love it if you appeared in his dream, which I don't know if that means... That feels like you shouldn't do it because of that.
Can Malachi also make an insight check?
Sure, Malachi can also make an insight check.
Oh, and by the way, you know Alden's totally into Regin, right?
Yeah, I'm...
Hannah, I crit.
Great.
He's like, I just don't know, man. I mean, do you think?
Yeah, Regin, it's hard to tell. Sometimes you think so, sometimes you don't think so. You don't know if you're reading too much into it, but also, like, you don't know
You've
if you just,
definitely
like...
been going about it, though. I feel like you've been pretty, like, straightforward with it.
Right, I thought I was too, but then I realized I have no idea. I haven't...
Yeah, you haven't actually said anything or made any clear moves that indicate that you are romantically interested in him or said anything to indicate that you were more than just friends. But to me, I think that seems like you were being pretty good. I mean, he should know, right?
I don't fucking know.
Hannah?
Yeah, very nat 20 insight of you, Malachi. There's a lot going on right now, a lot of moving parts. The last thing you need is any entanglements or anybody to get distracted. But you know that Alden has a +7 to his athletics and was definitely not playing like a man with a +7, partly because he kept getting distracted when he and Regin would get too close on either side of the volleyball net. And his performance definitely dropped once Regin took his shirt off, which admittedly was one volley in, but he was better on that first volley than, later, so...
Hey, Mal, like, claps Regin on the shoulder and, like, rolls over, sit there face to face. He definitely was looking. I saw him looking.
Well, I mean, that kind of gives me the ick, though, because, like, if he's got a +7 to athletics, but he's going to get distracted by one pair of shiny tits...
No, I don't think he was throwing the game. I think we were definitely better than him. I mean, we're better than... I mean, physically, we're stronger than anybody here.
Yeah. Roll back over. I like spooning you.
A few feet off to the right, Finn is losing an arm wrestling match against Baleen.
Mal rolls back over and sort of twists his head around to talk to Rick, to continue the conversation. Well, Regin, I think personally that if I were Alden and I was playing against a man that I was interested in and he took off his shirt, I also might do worse than I normally would. Especially if he maybe doesn't know what to say to you, too. Because you've never made any, explicit indications that... You've made inferences, sure. I think you should go for it.
You think?
Not now. After Erebrer. When we live. This is all whispered, by the way.
It's weird that you felt the need to specify that we live, but yeah.
Oh, well, we're gonna live, Regin. Obviously. If you guys die, I'm gonna kill myself. No. If anything happens to either of you, I will kill everyone in the room.
And then yourself.
But I personally think that you probably should just go for it. I mean, it's not like we really have anything to lose. And,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to see how it works out. I could use some pointers someday.
Well, shit, do you think that he was offended that I performed so incredibly well?
No, Regin, I think he was turned on by that. I think we were fucking hot out there today.
I think we were fucking hot, mate. We're fucking hot.
Malachi and Regin give bro smooches goodnight.
Malachi and Regin have been kissing the homies goodnight this entire campaign. We just haven't mentioned it.
Not the entire campaign. We started around episode 25 or so.
Finn Drew, get over here for your homie kiss.
Benjamin.
Oh, yep. Finn comes over and lies down on top of them. Perpendicular to the two of them.
We close our arms over Finn.
So, guys, if someone, appeared in your dream and wanted you to give a message to me, and it was, to say that I'm neat...
I would attack first.
Okay, yeah.
I would be quite perturbed.
That actually has happened to me several times before, and it was always a negative, Finn. You were there.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe... I don't think that appearing in her dream is the worst possible thing. I think that's kind of romantic.
I think it's a lot.
I mean, it is.
I mean, it's a little invasive, right?
You don't have to stay the whole time, right?
I think maybe if you send a fish to her dream, would that be something?
That would be weird. Meanwhile, Mela wakes up. I just had the weirdest nightmare about a fish reading me chess plays.
Hold on a second. I need to look up the text of dream. Because Mela, I assume Mela is also a warlock of the Lurker in the Deep, so she can talk to fish too.
Yeah.
That's a level 1 feature.
Also, she's a mer person.
Not all mer people can talk to fish, Malachi.
Well, the ones that we met seem to be able to communicate with fish.
Because the ones we met were Lurker warlocks.
Oh. Hannah, was she wearing a seashell bra? I forgot to ask.
No. She had a shirt on.
Oh.
You know what? I think you're onto something. I'll be right back. I rush down to the water, and I telepathically reach out to the fish that I was playing chess with earlier.
Oh, hey.
And I say, okay, how would you like to have
Back for another match?
No, how would you like to have a real mind-bending experience?
Wow, sure.
Okay.
This fish is down to clown.
I need you to... I'm gonna send you into a girl's dream so you can tell her that I think she's neat.
Be normal.
Nate?
Okay.
Malachi, once again, back in the little wherever we're sleeping, turns around to Regin. I feel like maybe we should have given him a script before he went to find the fish.
Yeah.
Baleen, who's been established to be also there in that hunt that you guys are in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes.
Alden is also there, as are Nell and Shiloh. The entire place.
It's actually everyone's here.
In our 6-pointed star, they're on the other side of the fire, and they could, catch every third word me and Regin were whispering.
Yeah, so just tell her that I think she's neat, she's cool, and once I'm done risking life and limb and braving untold peril, I would love to hang out again.
Okay, can do.
Thanks. Okay, get ready. I have no idea how your mind is going to interpret what's about to happen. And then I reach out and touch the fish and cast Dream while thinking of Mela to send the fish into Mela's dream as my messenger.
Great. Yeah, you do that.
Oh, and tell her I'm sorry I was weird about it.
Cool. The fish, wakes up a little bit later, and is like, wow, I got teleported to another world.
Sort of.
The fish shifted.
There was a mermaid there.
Yeah, did you give her my message?
Yes, I did. Something I told her, that you thought she was neat, and you had to save the world, but that you said hi. And then she beat me at chess, so...
Ah, what a woman. Sorry, but you just said hi? You didn't...
I think I got a sorry in there, too.
Okay.
I said that you thought she was neat. You said that one multiple times, so I was able to remember it.
Right, okay. You know what? Great job, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I go back to our sleeping bags and get everybody all wet as I lie down again.
Oh, Finn.
Great. Eventually, a long rest is had. You wake up in the morning and everyone has sort of packed up, at least everyone who's going to Erebraer. Amelia's crew is going to leave, a little bit later, so they're still finishing. And the plan is to leave the, garden and the huts and everything there, so that it's sort of it is sort of a rendezvous point if anyone ends up needing a hideout again, or, if anyone is stuck in the lightless sea and needs somewhere to go. It's still a good kind of little safe cove here. But everybody who is going to Erebraer, which is 20 people, is sort of standing on the beach, and Alden goes, okay, so do we have to go in the water?
Yes.
Great, okay. Shiloh is like, Alden, will you hold Rosie so she doesn't go in the water? And Alden's like, yes. Picks up Rosie, holds her, above his head.
Oh, he's a good girl. Oh, he's a good little girl.
I telepath to all the fish in the cove. Okay, if you don't want to go on a one-way trip, get away from me right now.
Whoa.
15 feet back, everyone.
Nell says, hey, thoughts on possibly, so... here's this map. This is the island that we want to aim at. This is the main, where the King's Court is. It's a relatively small island. Erebraer doesn't have a massive, capital like Dermator, but this is the island we want to aim for. I think it might be smart if we aim a little bit away from it and then all got on map black, because Matt Black approaching is going to be, like, it's one thing for an unfamiliar ship to sail up, it's another thing to open a whirlpool, like, right in their waters.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried we just get shot full of arrows.
Yeah, because they'd be jealous.
Yeah, exactly. So, why don't you try and aim for, like, here? Does that work?
Okay, can anyone, describe the location to me? You know, as vivid as possible. Paint me a word picture. I gotta be able to picture this, or we might all die. But it's probably fine.
Shiloh, who's possibly the only person who's been there, describes it to you. I won't, because it's better to describe it when you get there. But she describes it in detail.
Wow, that was beautiful, Shiloh.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm known for my poetic descriptions. You, Finn, can feel that is good enough to aim for a space like, you know, a few miles away from it so that you can then sail in.
Okay. All right, then I raise my trident above my head. I say, all aboard that's going aboard! And I activate the whirlpool teleportation.
Again, the whirlpool swirls around, pulls everyone toward the center. There's a lot of, like, gasps and screams, as this is a very jarring experience. And then you are all whooshed through the water and...
By the way, you can all swim underwater, right?
splash out on the surface of the sea in the Northern Sea, the waters of Erebrer. It's cold. Like, it is colder. It is colder here than the Lightless Sea. The sea is very chilly. The sea is also gray and wild compared to the very placid, mirror-like waters you just came from. You are immediately tossed in these waves. The sky is this grayish color, but with, you can see the sun, like, peeking out from behind a few of the clouds.
Oh my god, I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, do you get out Matt Black?
Oh, yeah. All right, everyone, who wants to bet that I can't make a ship appear right now?
Finn, just do
We
it!
all know you can make a ship!
Malachi screams, Solstice!
Okay, solstice!
Matt Black appears, you are able to lower the rope down, and everyone kind of climbs up and is drying off on the deck, everybody's teeth chattering. Shiloh's like, good to be home.
Now, if anyone is interested in the bidet, please form an orderly line, all right?
That's just for us.
I mean...
Oh, there's no bidet, unfortunately.
Damn.
I mean, some people could also be allowed to use the bidet if they wanted to.
I put an out-of-order sign on the bidet.
No doing coke in the bathroom.
Yeah. And Matt Black sails in the direction of the King's Court. The island, as you approach it, is green and rocky, as well as the like smaller outlying islands around it are just these like rocks poking up from the sea with some scrubland, not a ton of trees, although as you approach the main island, you can see that it is more forested. There are these, a lot of like coniferous evergreen trees on it, and then this city, built from these like low stone and wood buildings, yellow lights gleaming from within. There's a bay that has a whole bunch of ships in it. And you can see, as you start to get closer, you can see activity, people who are walking about in this small city that exists on this island here. There were seabirds flying overhead, seagulls, as well as like puffins. You can see seals and sea lions on some of the rocks as you get closer
Are they barking?
to. Yes, they are, absolutely. As you get closer to the main island. Looks very, it's cold, but it has this sort of stark beauty to it. Regin, you know that there's, like, snow-covered islands farther north, but this is too far south to have that kind of true snow cover. But you know that it does snow around here from time to time in these fjords and these places where the waves are beating up against the rock. As Matt Black approaches, and as you kind of get closer to the city. Can I have everybody make a perception check for me?
Hey, didn't somebody say something about impenetrable magical defenses?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, probably not.
Nat 1,
Oh.
which makes it a 4.
19.
Also a nat 1.
Wow.
Nat 1 then comes to a 5.
15.
Great.
Regin and Finn are, like, looking around, and then they bump into each other and knock each other unconscious.
No, Reagan's like in a weird zone because he's like, it's kind of surreal. I've never like approached it before. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't been back here since I left. It's just weird to see it from this angle. What are you talking about?
Finn's not on lookout because he's guarding the bidet.
On his way down to guard the bidet, Finn does spot one of the lab kids. They are doing, in fact, cocaine, not in the room with the bidet, but in the kitchen because the bathroom is closed.
Yeah.
I guess this is fine.
Well, there's no sign that says that, okay?
Malachi, you spot as Matt Black like glides over it, you spot a place where the sea is like a slightly different color. Like there's like a line in the water where it becomes very slightly lighter as you get closer to the island. And just as you're kind of like noting like, that's weird, you see these these enormous vines come shooting up out of the ocean and like wrap themselves around Matt Black. Like it's reminiscent, Finn, to like the way the lurker grabs ships, except these vines just like loop themselves around the railings of Matt Black basically, and like hold you in place. It's sort of Matt Black's self-propulsion like jerks you forward a little bit, and everyone gets thrown around as you get jerked back. You see from the capital, something takes off, and after a second, you see that it is an Aarakocra person.
Thank God, not a missile.
Yeah. This, like, eagle-looking person who flies very quickly in the direction of your ship and, like, pulls up, still, like, well in the air, and you can see that they're aiming a longbow down at you, and calls out, like, "State your business! And your allegiance!"
I look to Nell and or Shiloh
Yeah.
to do the talking here.
Shiloh, like, very quickly runs to the edge of the ship and is like, "Hi, Shiloh Forrester! I'm with the Forrester clan, and we're, my allegiance is to Erebrer. Our allegiance in general is against Lithios."
I think I have my passport around here somewhere. It's a bit damp, but I'm pretty sure. Give me a minute.
Finn goes to the wall safe and is sorting through the dozen fake passports that Regin has.
No. It should be blue. Yeah.
The Aarakocra, like, says something quietly into his collar, like, as if they're speaking, like, into, like, a walkie-talkie or, like, a shoulder walkie-talkie. Only, yeah, that's what it looks like from how far down you are. There's kind of a tense pause for a few seconds as nothing is happening. And then the Aarakocra puts the bow away and is like, "All right, you're cleared." Waves a hand, and the vines release Matt Black. There's a little bit of some damage was done to the railings, but no damage to her seaworthiness. As the vines,
What about
like,
to the boss or the flames?
snake back down. The flames are a little scratched. The boss, fortunately, is on the front, and the vines just came up the
thank
side.
God.
But you might want to get those retouched. The flames, but the boss is fine. Don't worry. Matt Black is able to pull forward up into the bay, and you see, as you sort of pull her in to anchor, you see two dwarven figures that look pretty similar to Shiloh, like, standing on the dock waiting for you. And Shiloh, like, waves down at them. Disembark?
Yes?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a cloak on.
Actually, I wanna establish two things. One, during that voyage, I did my ritual and changed Nurgle back to a gull. And two, as I emerge from the bathroom to disembark, I am going to minor illusion my ambassador disguise with the big beard on.
Great.
I stride confidently on deck and look at everyone like, ah!
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but it probably won't hurt.
Surely the king would never refuse an audience with the ambassador.
The ambassador from where?
Oh, you know. Far off lands.
Okay.
I believe you said the north at one point.
Well, now he's from the south.
I know it's a real place because I met those guys at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hannah, I'm not trying to be in disguise, but I'm also, not trying to be super visible. You know, just the fantasy equivalent of the baseball cap and sunglasses kind of thing, you know? Where it could just be a guy or it could be...
Aragorn. Yeah.
Yes. Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, cool. Regin's got the hood up, Finn's got the ambassador disguise on, Nurgle is a gull. You disembark from Matt Black down onto this boardwalk. You see Shiloh goes running right up to the other dwarves and gives them both a hug. You see this dwarven man with a big black beard and a scar across the side of his face. And you see this older dwarvish lady who's a little bit hunched over, but she has this long bow slung across her back and this knitted shawl over her shoulders and longbow slung across her back. And as Shiloh gives her a hug, Shiloh's like, Grandma, I did not expect you to be here. Why aren't you with the sheep? And the old woman, actually, Shiloh would say, why aren't you with the flock? And the old woman's like, those damn soldiers were getting too close to my lands, so the sheep are with your cousin Dane. I wanted to come here and speak to the king myself about the situations in the outlying islands and the ranches of Erebrer, but, it's been difficult to get any, actual progress done. Frankly, the situation doesn't look good, but, we're keeping our spirits up, She turns to, the rest of you, which everyone else is hanging back a bit. Alden and Nell disembarked, and then there's the three of you. Shiloh's grandma, looks around at all of you and is like, lovely to meet Shiloh's friends. I'm Clune Forrester, but you can call me Grandma if you'd like. Most people do. This is my son, Oloric, Shiloh's uncle. This is you, yes. I can take you to, I've gotten you an audience with King Mananan. He's willing to listen. He just mostly seems to listen and then tell people he can't do anything. But I don't mean to sound. I do. Things are, there's battles being fought everywhere. So,
Regin's squinting at Alaric. Mm-hmm. So Regin sees a dwarvish man and is like, are you my dad? You're probably not, but on the off chance that you're my dad.
Great.
I've learned that if you keep guessing, eventually you'll be right.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the fact that you just got yours, I'm kind of like, maybe, I don't know.
Clune is like, all right, so come, let's not keep the king waiting. And she turns and starts to lead you through the streets of the city. The place where the king's court is, this sort of town, is called Luola. The king's court, however, as you quickly learn, is somewhat separate from it. Rather than being in the middle of the city, it is out in the forest. So it does take a little bit of travel before you get there. You walk through this city, all of the low stone buildings and the higher built wooden buildings, and then the place where it sort of naturally melds into the forest, and you see less of the stone buildings and more of wooden houses and houses that are built up in the trees and integrated with the trees.
Yeah. I have bad memories associated with these.
You walk a little further out into the forest, and Shiloh's grandma, in the meantime, is, like, giving Shiloh an update on, like, where all of her family members are right now, because it seems like people are kind of all over the place. It's like, Cousin Dane's, homestead is the safest, because it's the furthest from where the Empire's attacking, so a lot of people have ended up there, and we've got most of our flocks there, but the resources just won't support them. Giving Shiloh the update. You eventually make it through the forest to where things get a lot quieter. It's that hushed forest feeling. You start seeing, like, a lot of animals. Like, there's deer that bound past very close to your group, clearly have no fear of people. There's, like, rabbits, squirrels, lots of birds. You're just, like, full of bird song. There are also, like, a lot of, like, flickering lights kind of throughout the forest. These, like, magical lights that look like torches without being actual open flames. And you get to a place where the forest parts, and you see that you've actually come to the shores of a lake.
Ooh.
This quiet...
Now we're talking!
deep blue lake, very still water, and in the center of the lake there is another island, a large island, and you can see that there is a bridge stretching from the island to the shore of the lake that is made entirely out of vines and plant growth.
Oh,
this
fuck
vine
yeah.
bridge right over the surface of the water, leading to this forested island. Clune just, like, walks right ahead across the bridge. And you do see there are guards, like, standing at the edge of the bridge with their spears, but they, like, nod as they see that you're with Clune and Aloric and let you all pass.
Parlez-vous, gentlemen?
Welcome to Erebor. You make your way across this bridge, which, like, buckles and bounces a little bit under your weight, but is sturdy. You reach the island at the center of this lake, and you see that there's more people here. There are a couple of other guards, as well as just, like, people who are sort of standing around, having small, hushed conversations with each other. A lot of them look like... I think, Regin, you would just sort of know this, that even though they're mostly wearing, like, fairly simple clothes and a lot of, like, cloaks, you can tell from, like, how well made and high quality the clothes are that these are, like, nobles. Like, this is essentially the king's court. It's just that this is how Erebor does it, rather than a lot of bright colors. It's, like, a lot of forest tones. This is the like, important people. These are the actual, like, some ambassadors and advisors and other powerful druids here.
Finn is shaking hands left and right. Hello, it is lovely to make your acquaintance.
Can everybody make a quick perception check for me?
Ooh.
11.
14.
13.
So, Malachi and Regin, you guys both spot, you notice that, like, out of the people who are here, like, a lot of them are like, glancing at you guys, but you're not drawing a ton of attention, actually. But you do see that there is one, like, young boy, looks like he's, like, maybe in his early teens, who is one of the only, like, kids here, so that kind of automatically draws your attention. And he seems to be, like, very specifically, like, watching you guys, and, like, almost seems like he's following you. Like, as you take this small path toward the center of the island, he's, like, keeping up with your group, but keeping his distance. And there isn't really a good way to, like, go over and talk to him, because before you know it, you are right, you get to where these trees open up again, and you see what is clearly the Erebor equivalent of a throne room. There is another pool of water here in the middle of this space. Just a small pool with this, like, crystal clear water, showing through to, like, rocks at the bottom. Sitting behind the pool, on a, like, large wooden throne, is King Monanon, the Druid-King of Erebor. He is a stout, barrel-chested man. human, but almost certainly has some dwarf blood from looking at him. He's got a big dark beard with some streaks of gray through it. He also, in his hand, he holds a large twisted juniper staff. And sitting at the top of the staff is this big owl, looking about at everyone who gets close with these, like, big yellow eyes, darting back and forth. On the other side of the pool, kind of currently speaking to the king, there is a trio of people. You see one dwarf, and then two that you recognize to be Duergar. These, like, dwarves who specifically live underground and, like, away from the sun as much as possible. You don't get a ton of them in the Lunluma Ocean because there's not a lot of places where one can live entirely underground as they prefer. But there are a couple places, and you do get some Duergar up here sometimes. And one of them is speaking. As you guys get close enough to hear, you see that one of these Duergar is speaking and is saying, like, "We can only hold out so long. Your Majesty, we have already been under a barrage for weeks." King Mananon holds up his hand and is like, "I'm sorry, Heifer, but our resources are spread too thin. We're being assaulted on all sides. Already, we have lost some of our own most crucial lands, and are pulling forces back from others in order to prepare for the oncoming onslaught. Erebrer is already struggling enough to defend our own lands. Mar Cuan will have to stand on her own." Can I get a history check from everybody? Regin, make it with advantage.
13.
19 with advantage.
18.
Okay. Finn, you've definitely heard of Mar Cuan. You know that it is like a dwarven kingdom. You don't know much about it beyond that. Malachi and Regin, you guys both know that Mar Cuan is a small dwarven kingdom. Further out to, like, the southeast side of the Northern Sea. So, like, technically Erebrer is between Mar Cuan and the Empire. They're, like, a little bit further out toward, like, the Aberrant Sea and the Sea of Storms. However, Mar Cuan is a very small kingdom. Like, even calling it a kingdom is, like, you know, one of those, like, weird political things that has gone back and forth over the years. It's not part of Erebrer. It's an independent entity, but it is a longtime ally with Erebrer. You know that the people of Mar Cuan do live almost entirely underground. It's this, like, massive island that is known for being, like, an important source of resources, gems, metals. It's a, like, a mining city on, like, the other side of Erebrer from Lithios, and has this history of being an ally of Erebrer. Additionally, those history checks were high enough that I will also allow for an investigation check from both of you.
15.
3.
Awesome. That's okay. Malachi, you know all of that about Mar Cuan. Regin, you sort of put together as you're listening to this conversation. It's weird that someone from Mar Cuan is here asking for help, because theoretically, like, they shouldn't be getting attacked yet. But you are able to realize that, like, they have a lot of resources that would make them a very prime target. And specifically what you connect is that, like, a lot of the materials that were in, like, the cannons and the tech that Dr. Retfall was making probably came from Mar Cuan and would need more resources like the gems and minerals that are found there to continue making more of that kind of arcane tech. So that's what you're able to piece together as you're listening to King Mananon shut down this trio that are asking for help. The king sort of looks past them and sees your group standing at the edge of the clearing, and then looks back down to the Mar Cuan group and is like, "All right, we can discuss this more later. For now, I have another appointment." The one in front, the one that the king addressed as Heifer, nods his head and is like, "Thank you for your time, your majesty." And the three of them turn and start to walk out. They're speaking, like, furiously in Dwarven to each other as they pass. But as they, like, walk past your group, as you're starting to go to approach the main throne, one of them, this Duragar woman, happens to look up, and Regin, she catches your gaze under the hood. And she, like, you see her visibly, like, stop walking. And she, like, looks over to you and she's like, sorry, are you, can I just ask, what's your name, by any chance?
Stockweather.
I've
also been staring at them this entire time. Like, Regin hasn't blinked in 5 minutes.
Where were you born?
Here, well, not like here, but, Erebor, like 2 islands over. You guys, hold on one sec. And I, like, hastily take my necklace off and just kind of, like, awkwardly, like, shove it at her to read.
Yeah, she takes it, and your necklace has the dragon scale and the hagstone hanging, like, right next to each other. And she takes both of them and looks at them and, like, glances off the dragon scale and is looking more specifically at the hagstone and is like, I mean, does the name Railthor mean anything to you?
Apparently it was my dad. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know how common of a name it is.
By Moradin's hand, you're the spitting image of him. You really are.
What?
Heifer is like, Anbera, come on. And Clune, Shiloh's grandma, is sort of like beckoning to all of you and was like, we're not keeping the king waiting. And you see Anbera sort of like steps away and is like, bye, Moradin. I'm coming. And goes to catch up with her group, as the rest of you...
Whoa. Hold, Your Majesty, one moment. Excuse me. I run after them. Regin. And by run, I mean walk purposefully.
You power walk to catch up with them.
They got little legs.
Yeah.
And I'm nimble.
It's true. Yeah, well, the camera will follow you. The rest of you are sort of ending up in front of King Monanon, but the camera will follow Regin as he breaks off. Anbera, the woman that you were talking to, looks up at you, and is like, you're so tall. That's the part that I wouldn't have expected. But
Mom was human.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes sense. But the facial structure, the beard, I mean, right? Isn't he the spitting image of Railthor? And you see the other two, who are still, like, look much angrier than she does about the outcome of their meeting just now, sort of, like, glance at you, and one of them's like, oh, yeah, it does kind of look like Railthor. And she's like, exactly, I knew, the second I made eye contact.
Sorry, you'll know him?
Yeah, we do. He's a good friend, actually.
So he's alive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was when we left Mar Cuan. With the way things are going, I don't know how much longer we can count on that, but he was as of when we left.
Okay.
Malachi's, like, whipping his head back and forth between Regin and the king.
Man,
did you think he was dead?
Sorry, I'm being super weird right now, but, like, I just...
No, that's okay. I'm suspecting that I just dropped a bigger bomb on you than you were, than I was anticipating.
Yeah, no, I was like, I've been nervous the whole time I was here, because, like, I don't see a lot of our kind around, and I was kind of like, oh, it's going to be weird. I haven't been back here in a while, you know, I kind of, things got weird, and, wow.
Yeah.
Are you all going to be around here for a bit? Like... In the city, at least?
They glance at each other. The third one, whose name you don't know yet, is like, yeah, we'll try our luck with the king at least one more time. We can't just go back empty-handed, so...
I know what they're doing with I know what they're doing with our stuff. I know what they're doing with the gems.
Really?
Yeah.
All three of them glance between, and Heifer, who seems to be, like, the leader, the other Duragar man, is like... Ha! Fascinating. Although, at the moment I care less about what they're doing with it and more about stopping them from taking more. But, that could be useful in terms of convincing Erebraer to actually lend aid. Yeah, why don't we... There's a tavern, a tavern in Luola, the Fox's Nose. Meet us there sometime later today.
Right. All right. 5 foxes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have to go have a meeting. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
My dad's friends. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks.
Malachi is like halfway over to scuttling over to Regin when he sees him coming, and he's like, come on.
Oh, this is not diplomatically expedient, I must say.
You shut the fuck up.
Did you know them?
They know my dad.
Well, that's one they've got up on you.
You're alive, Dad?
My alive dad. They recognize
All
me.
right, after the meeting.
After the meeting.
The rest of your party is already standing, like, across the pool from the king, and have already introduced themselves. You see, as the three of you approach, Nella's like, and here's 3 more from our organization, and King Mononon actually, like, looks past them to the 3 of you and is like, I've heard. The dragon blood and the aberrant cult leader and the deserter. Yeah, we've heard of your...
Really...
And interpreter for the ambassador.
Really not painting me in a good light, I feel like.
I am pleased with the light that I have been painted in.
I mean, yes, I know that deserting was a good thing, but...
It's an upgrade for me.
Yes, I will say, let me be very clear, I mean that as an honor. The thing you deserted from took strength to desert from. Now, what... I must admit, I'm surprised... I'm happy to see you all here, and when I was told that representatives from the Archaeological Artificers Association wanted to speak with me, the last that I heard, your group had blown up an arcane laboratory belonging to one of the Empire's top scientists, and then no one was sure what had happened to you. It was sort of suggested that perhaps you'd all been killed. The adventurer had grown wings and taken to the skies, and I thought that I would have heard from her, but I haven't, so there was very little... your trail dropped off the face of the sea.
That's actually part of the reason we're here, Your Majesty.
There has been... Finn snaps his fingers and just drops the ambassador disguise, and this guy already knows who he was, but he does not address the fact that he was in disguise. There was a little bit of a schism in the ranks, you might say. So we're the good and heroic AAA, and the adventurer has gone off the bend. She is a sort of megalomaniacal, crazy, dreaming of divinity. You know the type.
Fascinating. He... holds up one finger and, like, snaps off to the side, and is like, can you, to a man who steps forward, a man who's wearing these, like, robes, and you can see a very prominent holy symbol of, Melora. And King Mononon is like, would you mind verifying? Please allow yourselves to fall under the spell. This cleric steps forward and casts Zone of Truth on the zone where you're all standing. Would anyone like to make the save?
No, I'll take it.
Okay. I fail.
Sure.
The king's like, say what you just said again.
Well, I might not be word perfect, but there was
fine.
a bit of a schism after the blowing up the tower incident. Basically, the adventurer has gone mad with power, megalomaniacal, wants to, I don't know, maybe take over the world, it's unclear, wants to become a god. We, on the other hand, are mighty, virtuous heroes.
Oh,
Well,
he's overselling it a little bit, Your Majesty, but...
I am not. Hey, ask the cleric. I believe every word I'm saying.
It passed the spell. The king leans back in his throne and is like, so she's gone hungry for power.
Oh, she's starving.
Can I look around for that kid again real quick?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Did he follow us all the way up to where the king is? 17.
Yeah, he's sort of like, he's standing kind of toward the back, leaning against a tree and watching the conversation. But, like, that's not, like, there are quite a few people around here watching the conversation, but he is among them.
But we did clock that he was sort of staring at us. Is he within the range of the Zone of Truth or no?
No, he's outside of it, yeah.
And also, Your Majesty, if I may just say, I love the aesthetic you have going on here.
Thank you.
I mean, it's no ocean vibe, but it's a close second.
The owl on the top of his staff has, like, locked eyes with Nurgle, and the two of them are, like, have not looked away from each other since you approached.
Wow.
I think I see some sparks.
Nurgle finally finds love too.
Yes, I'm disappointed. Disappointed to hear that about the adventurer. She has been a useful ally, and I was hoping to have her continued alliance, especially after the stunt that was pulled with the laboratory and the previous one at the execution square in Dermator.
She may have coordinated those, but ultimately was not responsible for their success, I would say.
Perhaps so.
That said, she is still working towards the goal that we are of fending off Lithios' expansion, but this is just to say that if you do maintain some sort of alliance, she isn't to be trusted.
Oh, right, I'm sure she would give you aid against Lithios,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be an alliance. She'd wind up in charge at the end of it.
Basically, we've come to give warning of increased assaults from pretty much all sides, and a warning that your defenses may not hold against what they've got going on. And by extension, I know it's not our place, Your Majesty, but you may want to reconsider what Mar Cuan has to say, because it's what's being taken from them that will allow the Empire to breach the walls. So, there's that. Sir.
Regin, make a persuasion check for me.
Do I get advantage for having said sir?
Yeah, can we help him?
I will say you can have advantage from the lead-up that was the other two talking before you talked.
Okay. 18.
The king scratches his beard and nods slowly, clearly considering this. You can see he's making the calculations in his head, pondering it over.
Pondering his orb.
Yeah, the metaphorical orb that is the crystal pool in front of him. The druid's equivalent of an orb. What he says is, I would like to be able to send aid to Mar Cuan. They are the resources that they guard are important, and I've been worried about the possibility of if Mar Cuan falls, all of us who try to remain free of Lithios's imperialistic ambitions may be in trouble. Even more trouble than we're currently in. The trouble is that there is simply not the manpower to send a contingent to Mar Cuan. I don't have the men for it.
Well, maybe you do now. You're looking at a 3-man army right here.
So I've heard.
We're available for hire, Your Majesty.
If you were willing to lend your aid in that way, I think that could be a very, one of the places where you could be the most helpful. Allow me to confer with my advisors, call back the delegation from Mar Cuan and suggest this to them, and if you could do that and help them hold their line and repel the attack that they're currently facing, Erebrer would be in support of this and would be able to provide you with some of the resources to do so.
If I may ask, Your Majesty, exactly what is said situation as we stand?
They have been under siege for quite some time, but Mar Cuan is built like a fortress. Their rock walls are very difficult to get through, and so they have been able to hold out thus far, but the delegation was just telling me that there is a fear that even the strongest rock walls cannot hold out forever, and it seemed as though a breach of those walls was coming within the next few days.
And Erebrer itself?
Erebrer itself is holding. We're holding for the time being, but Lithios's resources seem to be nearly endless. So, the situation is not yet dire. We are still strong, and we are still holding. But any help that can be given is greatly appreciated.
And your information, your spies, I don't suppose you've been able to uncover the locations of any of their leaders, or whoever is leading the charge here. Even if you're not on the offensive right now. You know, the guy who ran the laboratory sort of disappeared when we blew it up, so...
He just says, like, we have, information on their movements. Many of their leaders are not the best at hiding information and don't really seem to care to. They are at the point where they are just doing things with brute force. So yes, in short.
All right.
And that's all he says. He does not elaborate.
Fair enough.
You see the king sort of straightens up, and he's like, right then. Points to one of the people who are standing around here, and is like, call back the delegation from Mar Cuan. Have them return here so we can discuss sending aid. And you see, like, at this point, Nell speaks up and is like, and Your Majesty, I have more detailed information that we can give to your spy master, your whoever needs to know it. And the king is like, yes, you... points to like a very shadowy looking figure who is like standing off to the side. The person that you'd look at and be like, ah, yes, the spy master, the obvious spy master.
Ah, this guy has two crows on his shoulders.
Yeah, exactly.
I love your aesthetic too.
Yeah, there's a massive raven perched in the branch right above him.
We might have a love triangle on our hands.
Yeah, the raven has been looking longingly at Nurgle, but Nurgle hasn't even spared him a glance.
Oh no!
Oh man.
And the king says, but for now, call back the Mar Cuan delegation. Let's discuss. And I think that's where we can end our session. We can pick up from the next steps for you all next time. Welcome to Erebrer.
Yay.
Hope you survived the experience.
Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed that, which we most certainly hope you did, you can find us other places on the internet. We are at Ship of Fools Cast on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. You can also find us over at patreon.com/shipoffools if you'd like to support our show and tell us monetarily just how much you appreciate the fun little story that we're telling and the little jokes that we're making over here. Again, that's patreon.com/shipoffools. And as always, we have some people we need to thank. Thank you to Lucas Mangold for our beautiful theme music. You can email him at lucascarlmusic@gmail.com for all your music needs. And thank you to Theo Golden for our logo art. You can find and even follow him at @tgoldenart on Instagram. And we will be back with episode 66 of this podcast on March 21st. Until then, we will see you on the open seas. Bye! One second.
Oh.
Sorry, my grandma called me, which went to my Bluetooth headphones and then made made everything wrong. But I've hung up on her. I should probably text her real quick. Just to...
Take that, old lady.